Good afternoon and welcome to the July 30th, 2019 Public Works Committee meeting. This is a time for roll call and determination of quorum.
Evans. Armstrong.
Here.
Stroman. Here. Quorum is present.
Thank you, and now it's time for adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
We got a motion by Councilwoman Armstrong and a second by Councilwoman Modrick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Nay. Still passes with one nay. Yep. Now it's time for general public comment. This is a time for the public to discuss or express any concerns to the committee on an issue not limited to the items on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda. And I don't see anybody that has anything, so I'll open it and close it. Then I'll go to consent items 1 through 13. I'll open the public comment. I don't have anything on the dais, anything from the audience, so I will close that. And then we will move on to consent items, item 1 through 13. Does anybody on the council or on the dais have anything to pull?
I'd like to pull.
We've got number 2, and Ms. Dale Tech wants to pull 12. So I'm looking for a motion to approve everything except for item 2 and item 12.
So moved.
We got a motion by Councilwoman Armstrong and a second by Councilman Stroman. And all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2, authorize staff to advertise for bids project 2491, CIP number 51225, City Hall Administration Center renovation. Mr. Evans, you have the floor.
There we go. The only reason I did this is because I'm asked to be voting to authorize to bid this. I'm not familiar with any part of the project so far, and I would like to be able to see exactly what's finished and completed before I think anything should be authorized for bids. That's just the reason I pulled it. Maybe I'm just not familiar with the process yet, but that's the reason I wanted to discuss it a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Councilwoman Armstrong, you have the floor.
Thank you. I think just for clarity, it's just authorizing staff to advertise for the bids. If I may, could I speak to Director Tech to clarify that point?
Sure. Perhaps I can shed a little light on this entire process. As you are aware, back in a number of you, Alderman Evans, Alderman Stroman, were not on the City Council when the Vision Fund projects came forward. This project was part of the Vision Fund authorization. I believe some detail was provided at that time with exactly what was going to happen with the funds authorized for this building. Just a quick look at the attachments. You know, it talks about renovations in City Hall or this building for mechanical, electrical, and other improvements. Some walls are going to be moved, so on and so forth. An architect was hired. They've been diligently working on plans, have met with all city departments, looked at spaces, what needs to be done. This is not a rebuild of City Hall, but just a renovation. Some of these carpet tiles are the original carpet tiles in this building. Things like that are going to be replaced. The lighting system in here is obsolete. We won't be able to get light bulbs in the very near future, so the lighting is going to be upgraded. A number of things like that are occurring. So the architect's been diligently working on getting a project to bid. or plans available for that. That's something City Council typically doesn't see in any of our projects, is the set of plans. The authorization that is granted by City Council is to allow staff and our hired experts to do the work and get the work done. So I'd be happy to spend any amount of time with council members about process and how this all works. This is following the process laid out by City Council for a typical project. A little further information on this building. It's anticipated that the project will be advertised for bid in late August, and bids will be opened in early September with the hope that the bids can be awarded in mid-September, and then construction can get started this fall, and it'll be a phased construction. Obviously, we've got to maintain the space while work is being done in the building. So it'll be a multi-phase project going over the course of the next probably year and a half. So I hope that helps. If you have any other questions.
Well, I do understand the process as it stands. I guess I'm a little concerned that it seems to be lacking a step in that I know it's a trust factor in that we have to trust the people we hire to do a job, and I'm sure everybody's really good. But the reality is when I, with my own finances, hire somebody, I would like to see the final design before I give the credit card. And it appears to me we've gotten a little ahead of that in that everything's approved, we're trusted. Well, it could go awry. And the only reason I brought this up is because I was asked by some people, what exactly is going to be done there? I said, I do not know. And so if we had an itemized sheet of everything that's going to be accomplished before it actually went out for bids, that would seem to me to be a better sequence of events to know what you're actually spending the money on. So that's my concern. Thank you.
If I can go back into my turn?
Oh,
That was all right,
absolutely.
thank you. One, I appreciate Mr. Evans bringing this up to put it on the record so we can be transparent with the public. But again, I just wanted to clarify, we are just advertising, so we're not doing any work per se. So we need to advertise for the bids, and then from the bids, we understand the plans, and then we can move forward. That's how I'm understanding it?
Yeah, the plans are never part of the equation. We've hired a consultant to do the work within the budget. Back to Mr. Evans' point, during the Vision Fund process, there was a lot of detail about the cost estimate and where all the costs were in the project. I think it was even floor by floor. So that information was out there. I apologize that it isn't included here, but that's typically not done in conjunction with advertising authority. So just before the meeting, I said, any project any city council member is interested in to Mr. Evans, we'd be more than happy to sit down with you. The minute it gets kicked off, when we hire a consultant, we'd be happy to spend the time that it takes with each project to help council understand what's involved in the project.
One more question, Chair, if that's okay. Would that be something that you could attach for Monday's agenda? Or maybe
most certainly.
give to Mr. Evans?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure that the original Vision Fund breakdown is included, and then, even if he's got some time later this week, we can sit down with him and go over what the architect is currently working on.
Great discussion. Thank you very much. I yield.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Chairwoman. Do you mind if I ask a question to Mr. Tech? Dale, it's my understanding you probably don't even have this all put together for RFP yet, do you? Or do you have it set up to go out for requests, to go out for bids?
We currently have a consultant that is developing construction plans. They are nearly complete with those plans. So once they are complete, we just have to follow state statute as far as the bidding process is concerned.
And that was my question, because we're not at that step yet where we get the bids, we go out for bids, because we don't even know exactly, I'm sure, what's on there yet. We have an overview of what we think is going to be on there, but until you get that put together for those bids, we really don't know everything that's on there, correct? We've got a good idea. We've got a ballpark. It's just not broke down into those different
Correct.
line items.
Correct. And there is not a step in the process where we bring final construction plans back to the city council for you to approve that. Have not done that in the last 20 years.
Yes, absolutely. I've never seen that before, but we do have an overview of it, and I understand Mr. Evans', concerns that he has and what his constituents have asked. But the three of us that were on the council during the Vision Fund meetings, we saw that come forward.
Correct.
To what you were asking for. Not every item broke out, but what the overall project was going to be. So, and it's interesting in these bigger projects like this, especially a bigger remodel project, we might bid it out for 2.5 million. It might come in at 2 million, it might come in at 3.5 million. You never know until you start tearing things apart and you start fixing things. So, especially in an old, antiquated building like this. So, anyway, thank you very much. And if we have a motion, I would.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Armstrong and a second by Councilwoman Modrick. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes with one abstention from Mr. Evans. Or not abstention, but one nay from Mr. Evans. Item number 12. Authorize staff to advertise for purchase of a lift station, standby generator, and transfer switch for the Red Rocks Meadows Lift Station. And Mr. Tech?
Yes, I would like to make a correction on the title of this item. I'd like to change the word purchase to bid because it actually will be a bid. So if the record could reflect that the title should read, authorize staff to advertise for bid of a lift station standby generator and transfer switch for the Red Rock Meadows lift station would be the appropriate title for this item.
Thank you very much. And do I have a motion for that? Got a motion from Councilwoman Modrick and a second from our new councilman, Mr. Stroman. I had a brain freeze. Sorry about that. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Now we go on to the non-consent items. Items 14. I will open public comment, and I will close public comment because we have no public comment. Item 14 is an appeal by Dream Design International Incorporated of an exception request denial to allow for more than 40 dwelling units and one point of access per section 2.6 of the Infrastructure Design Criteria Manual, IDCM. A single access can only serve 40 dwelling units unless an exception is approved by City Council. And can I get a motion on this?
Got me.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Modrick.
See if I can clean this up. We actually have a request to withdraw as per the applicant, and I would make that motion to withdraw. Thank you.
I got a motion from Councilwoman Modrick and a second from Councilwoman Armstrong. She's whispering her name to me. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.